Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the life cycle of the stars. How were the stars born? Well, let's go back to the origin of our universe. Let's start with the Big Bang.
After the cosmos goes through a superfast quantum inflation from a very small size, the universe becomes a horseshoe of quarks, electrons, and other particles. A rapidly cooling cosmos permits the quark to clump into neutron, proton, and etc.
First is that the neutrons, like after the Big Bang, neutrons and other subatomic particles came into existence due to the all the energy and the radiation. They started to get electrically neutral by producing molecular clouds of dust and gas made up of hydrogen atoms. Due to gravitational collapse, they form pre-main sequence protostars. For example, these Taurus stars are formed in the Taurus zone. Once their mass crosses 0.08 of our very own Sun's mass, the nuclear fusion reaction starts to form the main sequence stars. Else, they will end up being brown dwarfs. So, the minimum mass required is 0.08 of our solar mass. Okay. Once all the hydrogen is exhausted from the stars, if it has if it has a mass within 0.08 to 0.45 of our very own solar mass, it will end up as a red M dwarf. And if it is within 0.45 to 0.8 of our solar mass, it will end up as orange K dwarf. Otherwise, no nuclear energy remains to balance the inward gravitational pull, making the core shrink and maybe collapse.
So the core will start to shrink, generating more thermal energy by Kelvin-Helmholtz theory. In such a higher temperature of 10 to the power 7 Kelvin, the proton-proton chain comes into action to produce atoms with higher masses. If the mass is between 0.9 to 1.1 of solar mass, like the Sun, then it will form yellow G dwarf. And if it is within 1.1 to 1.4 of solar mass, they form white dwarf. Undergoing a CNO cycle to reach iron with the most stable nuclei, the excess heat produced in the Kelvin-Helmholtz contraction of the core inflates the outer layers of any star within the mass limit of 0.3 to 8 of solar mass to form the red giant. In a closed boundary system of white dwarf and red giant, giant can transfer mass to dwarf. Once its mass crosses the Schonberg-Chandrasekhar limit, which is 1.44 of solar mass, the electron degeneracy pressure cannot balance gravity and have a catastrophic explosion, disrupting the star completely. This is called type 1 supernova, which have identical luminosity.
Red giant with higher masses of 10 to 40 of solar masses are called red supergiant. Now, any red giant
having mass of beyond 1.44 times of solar mass combines their electrons and protons, overcoming the electrostatic repulsion called neutron drift to produce neutron star. which contains only neutrons. Asymmetric supernova explosions can also give birth to neutron stars with a net momentum. Once it reaches the density of the atomic nucleus, that is 10 to the power 17 kg per meter cube, it stops shrinking and causes type 2 supernova with varying luminosity by the explosive bouncing off the surrounding envelope. Rotating neutron star can be highly magnetized, called a pulsar, as all electrons and protons are yet to combine. If its mass becomes greater than the Tolman Oppenheimer Volkov limit, that is 2.16 times of solar mass, then the neutrons start to collapse so that its escape velocity becomes more than the speed of light. So it starts to absorb everything, even light, such that within the Schwarzschild radius we can't observe any light. It is called black hole.
Considering black hole as blackbody radiation, it can also release Hawking radiation from its origin as a relativistic quantum effect. Now, the question is what black hole actually is. Well, science cannot prove anything beyond this, but we can go for a satisfactory hypothetical explanation, right? Red giants have an electron degeneracy pressure and neutron stars have neutron degeneracy pressure. Now, what a neutron consists of quarks. So, neutron can compose only into quarks called quark stars, contradicting gravitational singularity at the center of black hole as predicted by Einstein's general theory of relativity. We can follow Pauli's exclusion principle, suggesting a quark-gluon plasma will be created at the core. So, black hole can be nothing but a quark star. If it reaches the quark degeneracy pressure, then it will not be able to tolerate that pressure and boom, everything can only come out like a white hole. Can it be another Big Bang for a new universe? Again, a star evolution? Well, all of them are open questions. Can you answer it?